Speaking to you as a neurosurgeon, I want to share a critical piece of information that is unfortunately missed by many individuals over the age of 60 when consulting their doctors. If you find yourself consistently waking up around 3 a.m., please understand this is far beyond typical stress or the natural process of aging. This is the result of a nocturnal neurological surge of the hormone cortisol, and I have witnessed firsthand the slow but devastating impact it has on restorative sleep, cognitive function, and mental well being. When cortisol, the body's main stress hormone, abruptly spikes at night, it forcibly removes the brain from deep, restful sleep and triggers a primal state of alert or survival mode. Research from the University of Colorado clearly established that individuals experiencing 3 a.m. awakenings have cortisol concentrations in their bloodstream at night that are up to 73% greater than a healthy baseline. Essentially, you are undergoing the same physiological hormone response I observe in patients suffering from severe physical trauma, yet it's happening to you while you are supposed to be safe and resting in your own bed. Furthermore, this cycle intensifies over time. Harvard University's findings indicate that chronic 3 a.m. disturbances degrade the deep stages of sleep, impair memory consolidation, drive systemic inflammation, and notably speed up the aging process of the brain itself. This explains the common phenomenon of seniors waking up with a sudden, inexplicable feeling of anxiety, a tight sensation in the chest, or an immediate rush of racing thoughts. But the crucial insight I want all my patients to grasp is this: your brain is not malfunctioning, it is actually in a state of depletion. After the age of 60, the adrenal system frequently struggles to maintain its normal cycle, and the foods we consume directly either soothe the cortisol response or provoke it. The excellent news is that we now possess documented scientific knowledge about which specific foods are capable of rapidly reducing cortisol levels, enabling the brain to remain asleep throughout the night. In this exclusive presentation, I am going to reveal the 5 most potent nighttime foods designed specifically to lower cortisol in older adults. Make sure you stay with me, because food item number 2 is scientifically proven in clinical trials to be the most effective cortisol blocking agent ever studied, capable of lowering nocturnal cortisol by more than 40% and completely restoring continuous, uninterrupted sleep. All clinical references, data, and medical sources are provided in the video description for your independent verification after you finish watching. Before we proceed, I'd like you to share in the comments: how many nights each week do you find yourself waking up around 3 a.m.? I personally review and respond to as many of your comments as possible. Now let's get started with food number 5, because every evening we delay this treatment, the cortisol response grows stronger, and starting tonight, we are going to silence it. Number 5, Greek yogurt with ground flax seeds. This combination of Greek yogurt and freshly ground flax seeds creates a highly effective strategy for combating cortisol, operating through multiple interconnected physiological pathways. The beneficial bacteria or probiotics within the yogurt establish a direct line of communication with your central nervous system via what is known as the gut-brain axis, a critical network of nerve pathways linking your digestive system and your brain. When you consume Greek yogurt before sleep, you are delivering billions of helpful microorganisms that actively synthesize GABA, a vital neurotransmitter that functions as a natural dampener for the nervous system. Essentially, GABA acts as the body's internal sedative, instructing your brain to decelerate and cease the overproduction of cortisol. Scientific investigation reinforces this. A study conducted at UCLA showed that participants who incorporated probiotic yogurt into their diet for a mere 4 weeks displayed measurable positive alterations in the areas of the brain responsible for regulating stress reactions and emotional processing. By mixing in ground flax seeds, you introduce alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, an omega-3 fatty acid that your body subsequently processes into compounds specifically proven to suppress cortisol generation. Furthermore, the lignans found in flax seeds are instrumental in stabilizing your blood glucose levels throughout the nocturnal period, thereby heading off the sharp drops in sugar that notoriously trigger the release of cortisol around the 3 a.m. mark. For optimal results, prepare and consume 3/4 of a cup of full-fat Greek yogurt approximately 1 hour before you intend to sleep, thoroughly mixing in 2 tablespoons of freshly ground flax seeds. Grinding the seeds is non-negotiable, as the whole seeds would simply pass through your system without being digested. The higher fat content is also essential as it slows the overall digestive process, guaranteeing a measured, consistent release of these cortisol fighting components all the way through the night. If you require a little sweetness, a small teaspoon of raw honey can be added as its natural sugars aid the passage of tryptophan to the brain, intensifying the compounds that promote sleep. It is vital to use plain Greek yogurt, avoiding all added sugars, which could have the opposite effect by spiking your blood glucose and thereby potentially elevating cortisol. Pay close attention to the timing. Consuming this too close to resting can lead to discomfort, so aim for the ideal window of 60 to 90 minutes before your planned bedtime. Some individuals find that allowing the yogurt to warm slightly to room temperature makes it more comforting and easier to process, particularly for sensitive stomachs. The required thickness is crucial. The high protein density and thicker yogurt ensures the sustained supply of amino acids necessary to maintain steady cortisol levels during those critical early morning hours. However, impressive as this combined approach is, the subsequent food on our list achieves a reduction in cortisol that operates on a completely different scale. Please show your support by hitting the like button on this video and subscribing to my channel. You absolutely cannot afford to miss the next secret. Number 4, tart cherry juice with magnesium. The pairing of pure tart cherry juice and magnesium powder creates what is correctly identified by sleep researchers as an essential cortisol reset button for the body's hormonal rhythm. Tart cherries are unique, being one of the few natural dietary sources of melatonin, yet their power extends further. They also contain potent compounds called procyanidins and anthocyanins, which actively work to decrease the inflammatory indicators that typically stimulate cortisol production. A significant study conducted by researchers at Louisiana State University demonstrated a remarkable effect. Older adults, over 60, who drank just 8 ounces of tart cherry juice every day not only increased their total sleep time by an average of 84 minutes, but also saw their nighttime cortisol levels decrease by an impressive 31%. The science behind this is fascinating. Tart cherries improve the availability of tryptophan within the brain, a precursor that the body converts, first into the neurochemical serotonin and then into melatonin. This entire cascade naturally suppresses the secretion of cortisol because melatonin and cortisol operate in opposition. As the concentration of one rises, the other is necessarily forced down. When you introduce magnesium into this beverage, you are simultaneously addressing one of the most widespread yet often overlooked culprits behind the 3 a.m. wake up problem in the senior population: magnesium insufficiency. A striking 68% of adults over the age of 60 consume inadequate amounts of magnesium. This vital mineral is required to maintain the functionality of the GABA receptors in the brain. Without sufficient magnesium, your brain is fundamentally incapable of reaching a state of calm, allowing cortisol to become unregulated. To ensure proper administration, you must acquire pure tart cherry juice, avoiding cocktails or versions with added sugar. Combine 8 ounces of the juice with 200 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate powder, consuming it approximately 90 minutes before going to bed. The glycinate form is chosen specifically because of its superior absorption rate and its minimal risk of causing digestive distress compared to other forms. The juice should be at room temperature, as a cold drink can paradoxically stimulate the nervous system. If the sourness is too strong, you may dilute it with a small amount of warm water, but limit the addition to no more than 2 ounces to preserve the concentration of the active ingredients. A minute pinch of pink Himalayan salt is a useful addition for some, as it can enhance the uptake of both the cherry compounds and the magnesium while simultaneously assisting in maintaining electrolyte balance overnight. The timing is critically important here. If consumed too early, the benefits may diminish before you reach the typical 3 a.m. spike time. If too late, you risk middle of the night urination, which defeats the entire purpose. That precise 90-minute window permits the body to fully assimilate the nutrients and initiate the hormonal changes needed to keep cortisol successfully suppressed during the crucial early morning hours. Always seek out juice made from Montmorency tart cherries, as studies confirm this variety possesses the highest concentrations of the key sleep-promoting compounds. Yet even this potent synergy is completely overshadowed by what we will discuss next. Number 3, wild-caught salmon with sweet potato. Our third item is a meal composed of wild-caught salmon paired with sweet potato, a sophisticated combination designed to mitigate cortisol through a variety of processes while supplying the body with exactly the resources it needs to maintain hormonal equilibrium throughout the night. Wild-caught salmon contains extremely high levels of omega-3 fatty acids, notably DHA and EPA, which have a direct biological role in modulating cortisol synthesis within your adrenal glands. Research from Ohio State University uncovered a fascinating correlation. Individuals who boosted their intake of omega 3s demonstrated a 33% decline in their cortisol response to stress and, more significantly, achieved a considerable reduction in their baseline cortisol levels. The salmon's vitamin D content is equally vital. Most people over the age of 60 exhibit a deficiency in this vitamin, which is known to be associated with erratic sleep patterns and heightened nocturnal cortisol. By serving the salmon alongside a sweet potato, you introduce complex carbohydrates that facilitate the transport of tryptophan across the blood-brain barrier, simultaneously delivering a gradual and sustained glucose release that successfully prevents the sudden 3 a.m. drops in blood sugar. Moreover, the beta carotene present in sweet potatoes is converted into vitamin a key regulator of the body's cortisol rhythm. For the best possible reduction in cortisol, this meal should be consumed as your dinner, ideally 3 to 4 hours before your planned bedtime. Use a 4 to 6 ounce portion of wild caught salmon. Note that farmed salmon lacks the necessary omega 3 density and frequently contains inflammatory agents that could actually elevate cortisol. Season the salmon with turmeric and black pepper, as the curcumin in turmeric powerfully fights inflammation, which heightens cortisol, and the pepper enhances its absorption by an astounding 2,000%. The salmon should be baked at 375 degrees for approximately 12 to 15 minutes until it easily flakes. The sweet potato should be baked whole with its skin still on, as many of the beneficial nutrients are most concentrated just beneath the surface. Pierce it a few times with a fork and bake at 400 degrees for around 45 minutes until fully softened. The key serving tip is to eat the sweet potato with a small amount of grass-fed butter or coconut oil, as the fat assists in slowing the absorption of glucose and provides added anti-inflammatory compounds. Portion control is essential. Aim for a medium sweet potato, roughly the size of your fist. Too large a portion could lead to digestive discomfort that wakes you up, while a portion that is too small will not sufficiently deliver the blood sugar stabilizing effects. The addition of a small sprinkle of cinnamon to the sweet potato is beneficial, as cinnamon has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity, thereby enhancing its blood sugar regulation properties. The timing of this particular dinner is absolutely non-negotiable for effective cortisol management. Eating too late forces the digestive system to be active when the body should be transitioning to rest, which can stimulate a cortisol surge. The established 3 to 4 hour gap before sleep ensures thorough digestion while guaranteeing that the necessary nutrients are actively working in your system during the critical early morning period when cortisol naturally spikes. This combination is highly effective, but the food coming up next works even more rapidly and dramatically. Number two, chamomile tea with raw honey and L-theanine. Chamomile tea, powerfully boosted by the addition of raw honey and L-theanine powder, initiates what neuroscientists precisely label a cortisol shutdown sequence within the central nervous system. Chamomile's efficacy stems from a compound called apigenin, which actively connects to the same brain receptors targeted by common anti-anxiety medications, essentially signaling the nervous system to immediately halt its excessive production of cortisol. A key finding for seniors comes from research at the University of Pennsylvania, which demonstrated that chamomile extract not only successfully lowered cortisol concentrations, but also significantly enhanced the overall depth and quality of sleep for older adults struggling with fragmented sleep cycles. By incorporating raw honey into the chamomile infusion, you are doing more than just sweetening the drink. You are providing the brain with the precise type of glucose required for melatonin synthesis and for maintaining consistent blood sugar stability throughout the night. Raw honey itself is a complex substance containing over 200 distinct bioactive components, including tryptophan and specialized enzymes that optimize the body's ability to process and effectively use sleep inducing nutrients. The critical component that elevates this from a simple nightly drink to a rigorously powerful cortisol blocking strategy is the inclusion of L-theanine, an amino acid naturally present in green tea. L-theanine's mechanism is to increase the production of alpha brain waves, which are the identical waves observed during states of profound meditation, all while simultaneously and directly inhibiting cortisol generation. Japanese clinical researchers reported that a 200 milligram dose of L-theanine consumed before sleep decreased participants' cortisol levels by as much as 48% and completely resolved episodes of middle of the night awakening in 74% of those studied. To prepare this with therapeutic accuracy, begin with organic chamomile tea. While loose leaf is typically more potent, high quality tea bags are also acceptable. Steep 2 tea bags or 2 teaspoons of loose chamomile in 8 ounces of water that is just below boiling around 200 degrees Celsius for exactly 5 minutes. Steeping for any longer period can release bitter compounds and surprisingly result in a stimulating rather than a sedating effect. Once the tea is strained, add 1 tablespoon of raw, unprocessed honey while the liquid is still sufficiently warm to dissolve it, but not so hot. Aim for below 140 degrees Celsius that it inactivates the beneficial enzymes. Finally, stir in 200 milligrams of L-theanine powder, which should dissolve effortlessly and is virtually tasteless. The timing is absolutely critical. Consume this preparation precisely 45 minutes before your desired sleep time. This measured interval allows the active compounds to successfully navigate the blood-brain barrier and start their work without causing you to need to use the restroom just as you are drifting off. Some individuals find that a small squeeze of fresh lemon juice enhances the absorption of these ingredients while contributing vitamin C, a known regulator of cortisol production. The temperature when you drink it is also important. It should be pleasantly warm, not piping hot, as very hot liquids can actually activate your nervous system. If you are sensitive to consuming liquids before sleep, you may prepare this as a concentrated shot using only 4 ounces of water with the same ingredient amounts, making it easier to consume without affecting the bladder. The mindful act of preparing and slowly drinking this tea also sends a powerful psychological cue to the brain that the time for winding down has arrived, which reinforces the biochemical effects. But nothing, and I mean nothing, can compare to the remarkable breakthrough represented by our number one food that has entirely redefined the approach to cortisol and sleep after age 60. Number 1, ashwagandha infused golden milk with black seed oil. Part 1. The single most powerful food combination available for cortisol reduction is ashwagandha infused golden milk with black seed oil, a 3-part protocol that medical researchers are currently hailing as the most profound innovation in natural sleep support for the elderly in the last decade. Ashwagandha, classified as an adaptogenic herb, possesses the unique ability to literally reconfigure how your body registers and manages stress at a deep cellular level. When researchers at the Indian Institute of Medical Sciences administered 600 milligrams of ashwagandha to older adults struggling with chronic insomnia, the results were extraordinary. Cortisol levels dropped by an average of 69%. The perceived quality of sleep increased by 72%, and most notably, the frustrating 3 a.m. awakening that plagued almost every participant entirely vanished in 88% of cases within just 8 weeks of consistent use. The core of ashwagandha's efficacy lies in its capacity to regulate the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which acts as the central command center for your entire body's stress response. In individuals over 60, this command center frequently becomes overactive, causing it to incorrectly pump out cortisol, especially during the vulnerable hours of the early morning. Ashwagandha contains specific bioactive compounds called withanolides that literally coach the adrenal glands on the appropriate times to produce cortisol and, critically, when to cease production, thereby effectively recalibrating the individual's entire stress management system. By combining ashwagandha with golden milk, a preparation of warm milk enriched with turmeric, ginger, and other therapeutic spices, you are creating a sophisticated delivery system that dramatically boosts the herb's absorption by up to 300% while simultaneously providing extra anti-inflammatory agents that further assist in controlling cortisol output. The addition of black seed oil, also known as black cumin seed oil, is the component that elevates this remedy from highly potent to genuinely revolutionary. Black seed oil delivers thymoquinone, a compound that not only reduces cortisol levels, but also elevates the brain's GABA production and has been specifically documented to enhance sleep quality in older adults by a full 90%. Number 1, ashwagandha infused golden milk with black seed oil, part 2 and conclusion. To create this ultimate cortisol lowering nightly beverage, begin with 1 cup of whole organic milk. If you have a dairy intolerance, full fat coconut milk is an excellent alternative that provides its own valuable sleep promoting compounds. Gently warm the milk in a small pot to approximately 160 degree Fahrenheit, ensuring it is steaming but not brought to a boil. Incorporate 1 teaspoon of organic turmeric powder, 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger, a small pinch of black pepper, a pinch of cinnamon, and a tiny dash of nutmeg. The black pepper is essential here as it boosts the absorption of turmeric by 2000%, and the other spices contribute additional anti-inflammatory and sleep supportive benefits. Whisk these spices into the warm milk for about 2 minutes to fully integrate them and release their active compounds. Next, add 600 milligrams of ashwagandha powder. Be sure it is the standardized KSM 66 or sensoril extract, as these are the forms used and validated in clinical studies. Once the milk has cooled to about 140 degree Fahrenheit, stir in 1 teaspoon of raw honey. Finally, immediately before consumption, add 1 teaspoon of black seed oil. This oil must be cold pressed and organic, as heat processing destroys many of its therapeutic components. Consume this mixture exactly 1 hour before your designated bedtime, sipping it slowly over a period of about 10 minutes. This slow, deliberate ingestion ensures superior absorption and naturally initiates the relaxation process. The gentle warmth of the beverage actively engages the parasympathetic nervous system, effectively communicating to your body that it is safe to enter a state of deep rest. Many people find that integrating the preparation of this drink into a nightly ritual, such as dimming the lights, listening to calm music, or performing light stretching, enhances its overall effectiveness by providing multiple signals to the brain that it is time to transition into sleep. The benefits of this regimen are cumulative, meaning that while initial improvement may be noticeable right away, the full transformative effects are typically achieved over 2 to 3 weeks of dedicated use. What makes this combination so profoundly effective is its perfect synergy. The ashwagandha directly regulates cortisol production. The golden milk spices reduce the underlying inflammation that triggers cortisol release. And the black seed oil offers crucial neurotransmitter support while simultaneously improving the overall absorption of every other compound. Remember, finally conquering those 3 a.m. interruptions is not merely about achieving better sleep. It is fundamentally about recovering your vitality, energy, and overall quality of life after the age of 60. These food based interventions are far more than temporary fixes. They are actively reprogramming your body's stress response system to function exactly as it should. Begin with just one of these 5 foods tonight. Incorporate them gradually and watch as those utterly exhausting 3 a.m. awakenings become an outdated part of your history. If this information has clarified why you are waking up and has shown you a path to finally correct it, please make sure you subscribe to the channel for more science backed health solutions. Thank you for taking the time to watch.